Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakon joins us for sign language interpretation this Tuesday, the 21st of June, 2022. In a first story, the Uganda Law Reform Commission has released a 2-year report on the status of externalization of labor. The report has revealed that there was gross violation of human rights against Ugandans seeking jobs abroad. Ivan Kahwa has the details.
Uganda Law Reform Commission research conducted from July 2020 to June 2022 on externalization of Uganda labor reveals that there is lack of substantive legislation on externalization of Ugandan labor, gross abuse and violation of human rights. In 2021 alone, during the peak of COVID-19, 28 people died abroad.
They talked about battery, the beating. They talked about bullying. They talked about racist comments and racist tendencies. They talked about exploitation. When you talk about exploitation, you find, for example, a person has been taken to be a maid in one house. Yeah, and you find that they do housemaid hopping. And then there's the issue of extortion. Yeah, because some of the fees, like I already alluded to, are not supposed to be charged, but you find sometimes some recruitment agencies are doing that.
What is here is we are regulating recruitment companies here, but we also indicate how Ugandans are going to be recruited. And that is the embassy's role, the other side, to accredit the recruitment companies in the other countries.
Uganda Law Reform Commission recommends a need to harmonize regional instruments and increase consulates in countries where labor is exported.
You look at the number of course, the number of labor attaches we have in our mission. Even if we gave the labor attaches, the missions, the powers to be able to handle this particular activity, they'll be overwhelmed because of the sheer number of people who are going to these places.
Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs is recommending for the amendment of the employment bill to insert in new sections to protect Ugandans involved in labor exploitation.
A person shall not transact a business of a recruitment agency in Uganda without a valid license, because we are told to prohibit that. So that is how that section is going to read. We are going to just insert a section 38 in there to cater for that. Then the next one is we are going to insert a new section 38A, because there's already a 38. There's going to be a new section 38A and 38B in the Principal Act, which is going to talk about recruitment agencies being companies.
Uganda has signed bilateral labor agreements and MOUs with Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and United Arab Emirates to address the concerns of Ugandan immigrant workers.
To me, this is a very good step that government has realized the need to engage to ensure that the migrant workers that leave this country are protected in one way or the other. And then the question is, are these efficient mechanisms that we can use to ensure that this whole process is transparent, to ensure that everyone involved does so in a transparent manner, to ensure that these migrant workers who go out there are protected.
We have the establishment of a joint technical committee, and it is Uganda has its committee, and then the country we have signed with, say, Saudi Arabia has its committee.
There are 215 recruitment companies that assist in the recruitment of labor in Uganda. Uganda Law Reform Commission is mandated to study and keep under constant review of laws and make recommendations. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba, has convened a meeting of senior religious leaders from the East African region to discuss the ongoing conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The meeting, held under the auspices of the InterReligious Council of Uganda at Namidembe Guest House in Kampala, was attended by the Mufti Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, the Mufti of Uganda, who is also co-chair of the African Council of Religious Leaders, Bishop Francis Karemera, representing the Most Reverend Dr. Laurent Mbanda, the Primate of Rwanda, and the Most Reverend Dr. Andy Georges Taitri, the Primate of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Archbishop Kazimba, the convener of the meeting, said that the meeting was to reaffirm their commitment on peace, security and democracy in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the East African community at large. The religious leaders in their joint communique stressed that they are deeply troubled by the situation in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. They revealed how they are particularly concerned by the loss of life and property that has been brought about by the conflict, including the increase in refugee crisis, tribal and national sentiments, xenophobic tendencies which could result into a genocide. The current situation in the eastern part of the DRC, combined with economic downflow characterized by the increase in the prices of goods and services within the region, threatens to undermine the aspirations of the East African community. However, the religious leaders appreciated the steps being taken to integrate the Democratic Republic of Congo into the East African community and urged the political leadership to urgently use this framework to resolve the ongoing crisis. In more news, the M23 rebels have opened the border with Uganda at Bunagana, but only for the stranded Congolese refugees who want to return home in the DRC. The refugees are, however, given strict conditions of registering with the rebels before crossing to Congo, and are not allowed to cross to Uganda with any luggage. As Philip Aguta reports, the M23 rebel spokesperson, Major Willie Ngoma, says that they have opened the border to ease life for the Congolese citizens to go home and transact business.
It's close to a fortnight since M23 rebels captured and took control of Bunagana town from the government soldiers in the Eastern Republic of Congo. Since then, over 32,000 people have been displaced and are being hosted in Uganda. Most of them are settled in gazetted refugee camps, while a handful of others declined taking refuge in the camps and opted to remain in the streets and on the verandas of buildings along the Uganda-DRC border with the hopes of returning back to Congo. Their dreams have now come true as M23 rebels revisited their decision to lock them out and now reopened the border to allow them a return home. This was confirmed by the M23 rebel mouthpiece, Major Willie Ngoma.
Ile coalition wamekuja shambulia ngome zetu kila wakati, na kila wakati kama wanakuja sisi tunajibu mapigo peke yake, sababu sisi tunapenda amani, tunapenda tukaa pamoja tuzungumuze. Sisi wote ni wakongomani, inabidi tutafute peace. Amani iko vizuri sana, tutabalinda vizuri sana. Adui anakimbia mbali, tunamfuata mbali kabisa ili asikue kabisa haribishe amani ya raia yetu. Raia yetu gisi tunafungula boda leo tarehe 20, waingie, waende kikaa, watoto warudi shuleni, wasome vizuri, maneno yote wafanye business yao, maneno yote iendelee vizuri sana. Hii ndio raia yetu. Ule ni baba yetu, mama yetu, watoto wetu wasome.
This Tuesday, a number of refugees were seen trekking back to Congo across the Bunagana border, while others still remain skeptical about the return as they look on helpless. The Ugandan authorities in Kisoro welcomed the move, saying it was a risk to continue hosting the refugees in ungazetted areas within Bunagana on Ugandan side.
So now that they are allowed to go back to their homes, we welcome that news. It's a very good gesture, because for us under the law, if a person is not in a refugee camp like Nyakabande, he's supposed to go back to his country of origin. Bunagana is not an area where people are supposed to stay. So if they are allowed back home, that's very good. Those of you who have reported back should even encourage others to go back, and it's our prayer that the people who are on the other side also encourage these people and those who are remaining at the borderline to go back and do development work in their country.
The decision by the M23 rebels to open borders and clear the stranded refugees is voluntary. However, the burden now is for Uganda on how to manage those refugees who don't want to return to Congo, but maintaining to stay in the streets and on verandas of buildings in Kisoro. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kisoro.
The third East African Community Heads of States Conclave met on inter-Congolese dialogue process on the peace and security situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, welcomes the efforts of the joint EAC forces to pacify the Eastern DRC.
President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya has hosted regional leaders for the third East African Community Heads of State Conclave on inter-Congolese dialogue of the Nairobi process on the peace and security situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Chris Baryomunsi, has welcomed the meeting that is aimed at accelerating ongoing regional efforts to attain sustainable peace and security in Eastern DRC.
We receive with appreciation efforts by the heads of state in the East African community wanting to find a solution in the DRC. The proposal to have a joint force of the different countries, a military force, is welcome and we shall support it, but also there should be political efforts.
He said the East African community leaders are committed to contribute to reconciliation and lasting solution to the conflict in DRC.
Problem, some of these rebel outfits fight without a very clear agenda. Some of them are just mere terrorist groups. So even it becomes difficult to engage them politically. But we hope that the force being assembled by the region will be able to pacify Eastern Congo and the surrounding areas.
The conclave is being attended by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda, Paul Kagame of Rwanda, Evariste Ndayishimiye, Burundi, Salva Kiir Mayardit, South Sudan, and Felix Tshisekedi of Democratic Republic of Congo. President Samia Suluhu Hassan of United Republic of Tanzania was represented at the meeting by the country's ambassador to Kenya, High Commissioner John Stephen Simba Chowane. A number of proposals were passed in the East African Community Heads of State meeting, among them to deploy a joint force to scale down the rising tensions. Democratic Republic of Congo welcomed the proposals to deploy a regional force to fight the M23 rebel group in the east of the country. Military chiefs from 7 East African countries also held a meeting in Nairobi on Sunday to discuss the rising tensions between Democratic Republic of Congo and M23 rebel group. Haruna Motesasira.
Government has released a report on the upsurge of COVID-19 cases in the month of June compared to previous months at the beginning of the year 2022. The report was released by the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, while addressing the press at the Uganda Media Center in Kampala.
The public has been cautioned on the increase in the daily number of COVID-19 cases. While addressing the press at the media center, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Chris Baryomunsi, cautioned the public on the new Omicron variant.
Noted that there is a rise in the number of COVID-19 cases since the last week of May this year. I hope you know, as the media practitioners, that we are seeing a rise in the cases of COVID-19.
He said previously 20 cases were registered per week, which has risen to 600 per week in the month of June only.
Have increased from 20 cases per week between January and May to now over 600 cases per week in the month of June. And that is alarming because we opened the public space at the beginning of the year, the positivity rates were down. The number of cases were few, and we're saying from January to May, we were registering in the country about 20 cases per week. But in the month of June, we have now seen cases increasing to about 600 cases per week.
Bariomus also warned the public to disregard the social media rumor on the effectiveness of Pfizer being administered to children between 12 years to 17 years.
But there was this presidential, former president candidate, Kabureta, who was saying this vaccine causes impotence and so forth. That's not true. First of all, we have operations research, where we are following up all those who are receiving the vaccine.
He said the government will soon harmonize salaries of all public servants, beginning with scientists.
The government of Uganda has been increasing salaries of public servants, teachers inclusive. I think the last increment for teachers was 2019, not a long time ago. So the commitment of government to increase the pay of all public servants remains total, like we have said earlier on. And I had communicated much earlier that we intend to raise the pay for all civil servants.
The National Teachers Bill 2022 was also presented by the Minister of Education in the cabinet meeting chaired by the Vice President Jessica Alupo during the Monday cabinet meeting. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Motorists in Kampala woke up this morning to another rise in fuel prices, seeing the average cost per litre hitting Uganda shillings 5,900 at various pumps. We interacted with some to give us their thoughts on the matter, and Mark Arnold Wadulo has this.
Motorists in Kampala are wondering how best to manage the skyrocketing prices of fuel in order to go on with their work.
If you use 3 liters of fuel, it doesn't work. You only need at least 5 liters, and of which at the end of the day, you find you have saved like nothing, because the prices we use to charge the clients, it has not changed. Even now, for example, from Muchira up to Kampala, it has been 10,000 sometime back on the border. But this time, if your client, you tell him that is now 15, he cannot use your border.
For me in ICT, the nature of our business is about making connections and moving. We travel a lot, we do surveys a lot, then we go and work on sites. So most of our work relies on fuel because we have to drive back and forth, customers' sites, and a lot of other things that we need to do. So we use fuel almost every single day. So the price of fuel directly affects the services to our customers because we have to charge them more in order to make ends meet.
Several governments around the world are debating subsidizing oil products, but Kenya, our regional counterpart, is contemplating lifting its subsidy for being too costly.
I take it as it is a general crisis. So, and I assume that maybe it will be for the meanwhile, as the government promised to us.
Our government can also pay for us to do this decision because our storages are empty. That's what the Ministry of Energy said. So nothing you can say about that. The storages of buying of fuel, no, you can just pay for us some percentage and we also invest an expensive.
On the other hand, the need for an effective national fuel reservoir has been re-echoed.
The government should have fuel reserves. If other countries have fuel reserves, why not Uganda? And also they should speed up our own oil refineries so that we can also make our own fuel. Because we have the resources, why don't we have our own refineries producing fuel that we use? So I think they should, at the moment, short term, they should subsidize the fuel, but long term, they should make sure we also generate petroleum. Why not?
Currently, this 21st day of June 2022, fuel prices per litre in Ugandan shillings at various stations in Kampala were as follows. Total's petrol and diesel were both at 5,990. Shell's petrol and diesel were both at 5,940. Ruby's petrol was at 5,900 and diesel at 5,880. City Oil and Oryx's petrol and diesel were at 5,850 and 5,910 respectively.
How high will these fuel prices go? The question most motorists are asking themselves. The few that I've managed to talk to are contemplating on increasing the prices of their services just to be able to sustain their cost of living. Reporting for UBC News, Wadulo Mark Arnold in Kampala.
Uganda People's Defence Forces is set to meet all spiritual leaders and elders in Karamoja sub-region at Moru Ajole Hill in Nakapiripit district as efforts to reduce insecurity in the region. The Deputy Chief of Defence Forces, Peter Elweru, said that cattle rustlers seek blessing from spiritual doctors. However, elders in Karamoja described the meeting as a sign of failure by the forces to do their work.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello, this is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Congratulations, congratulations. Oh, one good day.
One good day? But I haven't entered any competition.
Owadechi, since you use your phone every day, we have randomly selected you as one of our loyal customers, and you have won a brand new pickup.
Hey, so how do I get this pickup?
The pickup is in Namave. All we have to do is quickly bring it to you. You know, we are delivering many of them. So, just send us 100k for fuel via mobile money and we'll bring it to you.
But Chief, I'm in no hurry to receive it. Namambe is just here. Keep it at your warehouse, give me directions and I will get time to pick it up.
Vaunawe, if you don't have money, just say.
Tonfera, never send money to strangers. Winners of competitions are contacted through official channels and are never asked to pay for anything. Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tonfera, refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda and NPSP Association.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. Uganda's oil and gas resources are located within pristine environments. The oil and gas activities are benchmarked on Uganda's updated environment legislation and on the international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. This is being achieved using improved technology to reduce environmental footprint, mapping of sensitive ecological features for avoidance, improving standards of waste management and development and implementation of tools for environment management. These include the Albertine Graben Environment Monitoring Plan, Strategic Environmental Assessment, various environmental sensitivity atlases, and the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, among others. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You see, I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register.
What's going on here? He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 hash, and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
UBC News Tonight, thank you so much for keeping it with us, and welcome back from the break. Youth and students should invest time in digital transformation and influence elders to move with the technology advancement. State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has urged the country to vaccinate against COVID-19. This was during the grand opening of the 7th National Conference on Communications at Makerere University.
From when COVID-19 emerged in the country, everyone was left helpless, which changed the dynamics to more internet usage and technology as the last resort to running business. As technology takes over, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is negotiating with World Bank to get more funding for setting up more ICT hubs.
We are trying to finalize negotiations with World Bank to finance the national backbone infrastructure, which is actually the highway that will take internet everywhere. And then we are getting another loan for the last mile to ensure internet now reaches every parish. To set up several ICT hubs, BPO hubs, so that the young people now can stop going out for jail. They can even work. They can do those jobs when they are here in the country.
Minister Kabyanga also urged students at Makerere University to be more creative and innovative so the country reaches a stage where everything can be made here.
Young team which is developing another platform which can work as a Zoom at the institute in Nakao. So, if Zoom brings problems, we shall close it and go to Nakao and we start operating. Let us not wait for Europe to tell us what to do. Let us not wait for them to invent everything for us.
Creative ability. That is all we are seeking as UCC. We are saying let's bring them together with industry, academia, teach them how to use their creativity and solve our own local problems. So we support and say these are people who are helping in this cause. Let us all join hands to make sure we realize this.
Kabyanga asked students to embrace the parish development model.
Very, very crucial now, because the parish development model is being it will need it more than it has ever, because we have the parish development model management information system. The parish chiefs will continue inputting data which we shall need to analyze how it is performing, and without internet we cannot connect to the parishes. So we have to take internet to the parishes.
Meanwhile, he's encouraging more Ugandans to vaccinate as the only way the country can fight the deadly virus. This year's 7th National Conference on Communications was under the theme Inclusive Digital Transformation Through Innovation. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has discovered the former Arua Regional Referral Hospital Administrator who was unexpectedly transferred as one of the co-suspects of the stolen ambulance and leakages for loss of drugs. The delegation that was led by the vice chairperson of the committee, also Wujiri MP Asuman Basalirwa, discovered extortion from patients by some medics, among other challenges.
Director, if you move around the city, every 3 people that have come to this hospital, 2 report that they have been victims of extortion. From your perspective, where you sit as the director, whether this is really a big concern to you?
How will the director go ahead and lie to this committee that there was pressure from outside, from the relatives, to give money to the staff of theatre? Why? What will force me as a relative to put money inside and I knock at the door of the theatre?
Arua Hospital Director Dr. Philbert Nyeko and Senior Principal Nursing Officer Susan Tabu said extortion is among selected characters within the hospital system.
We cannot deny the fact that extortion occurs in this hospital.
I first begin by confirming that that baby died in this hospital. The culprit has been got, is in police custody. Along the way in the morning, when the situation now got worse, the mother presses emergency button. We are informed that the person who took the money now disappeared. And we didn't know this. Until now, Monday, that's when we were told money was taken and the operation was delayed and the child has died and somebody has refunded some money.
Whoever was giving you the information, that deep inside your heart you accepted it. That you know people were in the theater, then somebody came and knocked, said take money.
Hospital management, however, says victims of extortion do not cooperate to capture the errant staff.
What is remaining for us to fish out this is community cooperation. Quite often our challenge is the community broadly bringing out the names of people who extort and also providing evidence.
The committee discovered lack of audits for usage of drugs at the hospital that they said is promoting smuggling of government drugs to private facilities. In response, the hospital pharmacist Victor Bewayo said management of drugs at the hospital pharmacy is done by the finance department.
Now storage of medicines is under the docket of finance. And when issues arise as per medicines, it is the pharmacists that come and answer.
Hospital director said the hospital has been operating without a pharmacist for years until last year when a pharmacist was employed. The issue of the lost ambulance and abrupt transfers at the hospital was also queried after immediate transfer of the former hospital administrator. Vice Chairperson of PAC, Asuman Basalirwa, attributed this to structural weakness in human resource management of the hospital.
This is a structural problem.
Yes.
Human resource. This is a structural problem. We just want you to look in the cameras and say, after this saga, the ministry initiated the transfer of the hospital administrator.
And in this one, very one here, which made a very good ambulance, went away.
The transfers of staff for us we receive.
Joseph Odama, reporting for UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Government has appointed a committee to ascertain the viability of land to host Bunyoro Public University in the efforts to operationalize Bunyoro University. Government has set aside 2 billion Uganda shillings to start the construction of this university.
The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, has appointed a committee chaired by Jacob Rubanga, the Member of Parliament for Chibanda South in Chiriandongo District, to start the operationalization of Bunyoro Public University. The university, once completed, will accommodate the growing number of students seeking for higher and university education in the country. Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja clarified on the rumours and confirmed that the long-awaited university was included in the budget 2022-2023.
The long-awaited takeover of the Gulu University Hoima branch is now due, and we are all in agreement. That is for us as a team that has come, the Kingdom and Gulu University management.
If the committee that will be appointed to work as a task force decides to merge the two, it is still possible. It is to our benefit that the university will grow bigger.
Rubanga said that the 2 billion which government has set aside to kickstart the university will be used to facilitate the steering committee, which is beginning on the 1st of July this year. The legislator explains that Bunyoro University could not be allocated an independent budget since it is not yet in existence, but clarified that the university money was put under Ministry of Education transfers to other government units.
Of course, during the reading of the budget, it couldn't come out as a standalone item because the university is not yet an independent entity. It is until Parliament or government issues a statutory instrument to establish it, that's when it shall be coded, and therefore it can be provided with funds as an independent item in the national budget.
Bunyoro Kingdom First Deputy Prime Minister Motiti Nyendohwa said the Kingdom had offered 75 acres of land at Butera for the establishment of the university. The Omukama has also offered the Kingdom buildings to accommodate the proposed Bunyoro University.
For us as a kingdom, whether the university is in the Kaiso, whether the university is in Karuma, whether the university is in Waseko, it will be in Bunyoro.
Hoima District Woman Member of Parliament Harriet Businge said they are currently working with different stakeholders to mobilize for the university's establishment. Businge cautioned some politicians in the district to stop misleading the locals about government programs.
Even if he gave us the university, if we don't provide the land, then he will not be there. So it has something to do with our mobilizing our communities to ensure that whenever a project comes, they are ready to embrace it fully, to own it, and to...
Dr. Joseph Ruyonga, the MP Hoima West Division, said the university has so many benefits that will come along with it.
Not fight it, and let us not make it political. This is not political. It's what comes to be for whoever will be, and it will be for Bunyoro and even beyond Bunyoro. Even other people can come from UK, from America to come and study at the Bunyoro University.
Currently, Bunyoro is the only region in Uganda without a fully fledged university, and this was slowly putting the region at risk of creating a less educated society.
Residents of Ankole Toromu village in, are concerned over the increase in, residents of Ankole Toromu village in Tisa Island sub-county, Kumi district, are concerned over the increase in domestic violence and environmental degradation around Lake Bissina. Omoding Solomon, a fisherman on Lake Bissina, says that lack of a road connecting Tisai Island to the mainland of Kumi district exposes the area to exploitation.
Lake Bissina is one of Uganda's 33 important bird areas, and since 2006 it was listed by Ramsar Wetland of international importance. The lake is important for fish, craft making, domestic water source for over 10,000 communities who depend on the lake. Angela and her husband derive a livelihood from Lake Bissina, are worried over the drying up lake, which they also say has increased domestic violence because reduced incomes and high prices of commodities such as salt and soap.
Amunyi geli se elukumita kwatare e pole be ilo ibora mamedo be I wanyu ti so ichani do so ngesitunga le apaliti da pugana paliti je so kidola aja ututai.
Fishermen on Lake Bissina also say there are no roads linking the island to the mainland of Kumi district. Residents say Minister for Fisheries Helen Ador has directed that all small canoes be destroyed with immediate effect. Low water levels in the lake hamper use of recommended engine boats for transport.
Minister na fisheries bongojo while road pota motoka na ebakase soma kino se gudo kwenye ma megudo ikrosi ngati borti side idolo jonge na while ade kade etwa kikinende se tonga tomado kata no tose badaka na takiri etonga na to anare mame ade kisi isemere mame se semere le baka pugani ara ade rai egile le matata kipi e mame isa ko se jara kera ngolol.
The rate at which trees are being cut for charcoal business is alarming, with local leaders ignoring the vice.
Environmental destruction. Has come very rampant. The island is not as it had been before. It is so rampant.
But the communities need training on natural resource governance to allow optimal utilization of natural resources. Benson Ekwi is Executive Director, Park Uganda.
So for us in the next steps going forward, climate change governance, necessary resource management and governance is going to be one of the pillars of our strategic intervention.
This will call for working with leaders of areas surrounding Lake Bissina and train them on natural resource governance to save the lake from extinction. Story compiled by Peter Akugziwe Arali for UBC News.
Thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you for this first segment. We will return with a big arrangement after this short break.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello, this is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Congratulations. Oh, one good day.
Good day? But I haven't entered any competition.
Owadechi, since you use your phone every day, we have randomly selected you as one of our loyal customers, and you have won a brand new pickup.
Hey, so how do I get this pickup?
The pickup is in Namave. All we have to do is quickly bring it to you. You know, we are delivering many of them. So, just send us 100k for fuel via mobile money and we'll bring it to you.
But Chief, I'm in no hurry to receive it. Namambe is just here. Keep it at your warehouse, give me directions and I will get time to pick it up.
Vaunawe, if you don't have money, just say.
Tonfera, never send money to strangers. Winners of competitions are contacted through official channels and are never asked to pay for anything. Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tonfera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda and NPSP Association.
The Ministry of Public Service invites all ministries, departments, agencies and the general public to the 11th Africa Public Service Day, APSD, scheduled to take place on the 22nd of June 2022 at Kololo Independence Grounds. The theme for this year's APSD is bringing citizens and governments closer, service delivery for social economic transformation. The chief guest for the day will be the Right Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Robina Nabanja. There will also be different exhibitions from the different ministries and agencies, and the public is encouraged to have a walk-through to find out the services provided and the new innovations that have been put in place for efficient service delivery. Signed, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Service.
Na MTN Momo Nyabo, echora kule chonka.
Amazina ganje ni banyeta Kansime Clofas. Nimbela lugazika kwa Mambara. Ninye muhanguzi w'emotoka ya MTN Momo Nyabo waka. Elizawa ninye nahangura motoka. Ninsima MTN Munonga. Ninsima abantu bonna abezungiro mu kintu ekyo kubasa kufisyaho ebirabo bya MTN. Mwebale Munonga, muhangare, mubereho.
Oreche waka na MTN Momo Nyabo. Echora kore chonka. Kawe mitware ebiri no kweyongerayo. Aha mobile money yawe. Obase kuba mw'abanyamugisha barayihangurire Toyota Succeed 3 na sente. Esiturabe ntwabahanguza barukike 12 buru wiki. Nituza kwaye motoka abiri nina. Na sente za mobile money ezirukurengo buhumbi bubiri.
Thank you so much for watching. Welcome back from the break and to UBC Business News Tonight. The Business Forum at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting has been opened in Kigali, and the main event was graced by Rwanda's President Paul Kagame and Patricia Scotland, Commonwealth Secretary General at the Kigali Conference and Exhibition Center. The forum, which is the first and largest in-person gathering for governments and business across the Commonwealth, will run under the theme Delivering a Common Future, Connecting, Innovating, Transforming, with a focus on a global reset. Our reporter Samuel Sendeno is in Kigali, and he has a report.
Business leaders and governments across the Commonwealth are meeting in Kigali, Rwanda, at the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of State Government meeting. The event is the first in-person meeting following a brief hiatus caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland enumerated on her goal of having a future of Commonwealth nations filled with prosperity.
There are many opportunities for us to work together to boost intra-Commonwealth trade. But what we know is that we have to have solidarity, determination, and courage. And our member states are showing all of those elements. We are going to improve connectivity, enhance cooperation, promote regulatory coherence and interoperability, improve trade logistics and trade facilitation, break down barriers, leverage digital technologies and e-commerce, empower women and young people as entrepreneurs.
The panelists at the fireside chat, who included Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, highlighted what they envisage as the common future for the Commonwealth.
There is already the understanding that we have to work for a common future. So we have to work at that and make sure that we get it. So I think it's work in progress. We are moving towards the point, and I am optimistic that the world has a lot of divergences, but at the same time, on everyone's mind and every nation's vision, there is thinking of that common future.
Future must be the future of the youth. And when I was just watching up there, and you said 60% of the population of the Commonwealth is less than the age of 29. So the future is here. So we got to make sure that we build the Commonwealth for the youth. It's 73 years old, but it's actually a very young Commonwealth. And the last point I wanted to make on the common future is what Malice said. We cannot have a common future without a common planet. So we have to have climate resilience. We have to make sure that, as also President Kagame and also Mokta was saying, that we also have vaccines. Today we are here, we are doing well because we have vaccines, but it's an inequitable access to vaccines. Only 16% of Africa has access to vaccines. So we cannot have that common future in which we all live unless we have equitable access to vaccines.
The Business Forum will run for the next 3 days, and the delegates are expected to deliberate on how to deliver a common future, focusing on dealing with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Commonwealth role in rebuilding the global economy. Samuel Senono, UBC News in Kigali, Rwanda.
Absa Bank and Bakaima real estate agents and developers are providing affordable and decent housing to Ugandans. They have unveiled a mortgage plan in Kampala, although increasing land rates and limited access to affordable funding were cited among factors affecting the supply of affordable housing.
According to Knight Frank Real Estate Consultancy, Uganda's 45 million estimated population and an urbanization rate of 5.6% is impacting negatively on housing. Currently, the country faces housing shortage of more than 2.4 million. Absa Bank Uganda has introduced land purchase loans.
But at the same time, we want to be on the journey with our customers. In other words, help them out to be able to identify plots of land at areas where there is service, there is a good school, there are water and electricity is provided, and the road network is also in shape.
With the prevailing economic conditions, it's even more difficult to put up a decent house.
In shape. So we decided to partner with Bakaima, and this is where Bakaima comes in. It's a real estate agency, and they are very well known in the market, and they will be able to support our customers to identify the plot of land, to sell them the plot of land, and we will come in and provide the financing to our customers for them to be able to acquire and finally begin that big investment of owning a home.
We realize that so many customers don't have money, lump sum, to buy property. So we are able to partner with the banks to help customers be able to buy land in installments over a longer period of time.
Commercial banks in Uganda are blamed for not supporting the real estate sector growth due to high lending and overpriced collateral. The mortgage facility that offers up to Uganda shillings 5 million in financing allows a payment period of up to 10 years. With an interest rate of 16.5%, the bank would accelerate land and home ownership. Brian Tumwinebia Ruhanga, Dennis Sigoa, UBC News.
Uganda Skateboard Union has joined its other similar bodies worldwide to celebrate World Skating Day. The occasion was marked at Chitintale Skateboard Park with more than 100 participants.
Several passionate skateboarders have gathered at Kitintale Skateboard Park to celebrate World Skateboarding Day. Skateboard is a relatively new sport in Uganda, having set foot around 2005, but is intent on growing its brand across the country.
Besides being entertaining, it is encouraging children physically, improving their health, mental development, creativity, and so many other things.
Uganda Skateboard Union officials have sights on the Olympics, with several avenues highlighted to enable quality skateboarders that will contest at that level.
We need to move from one place to another, looking for participants. How? Through moving in schools, in communities at large, in different regions all over Uganda. That's the time when we can start. That is the time when we can start shooting out those ones who are the best. Then we have a national team. Then from there, after the national team, we need to go to contest with our neighboring countries, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, East Africa at large. Then from there, we can go to South Africa and we compete with those people. From South Africa to West Africa, that's when we can qualify for those people who are going in Africa to be represented.
The good news is that several young Ugandans have taken on the sport and are determined to scale the heights.
It's part of my talent. What I can say, I joined skateboarding. It's because I love the game.
And if you love the game, automatically you have to be in the game. So I love the game, that's why I'm skating, and I feel like I have to be in it because it's part of me, it's my talent.
Thus far, Uganda has only 2 known skateboard facilities, with this in Kitintari and the other in Mukono. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
John Barnes, Sentamu, bring us to the end of all we had for you this evening. We'll get back to you with a big arrangement at 10 p.m. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's catch you then. For now, we'll leave you with Daphne Kabasita and Samba here, who has the weather forecast report.
Have you ever heard about Show Your Stripes Day? Today is an International Temperature Stripes Day. And for Uganda, temperatures have been changing. Since 1900 to 2022, the temperatures have been changing. For Uganda's day, they've been from blue color to red color, which shows an increase in temperature. And the changes in temperature are one of the indicators of the global weather change patterns. That's why we are having changes in our weather today. Thanks for joining UBC. I'm Daphne Kabasita Samba from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Today, most parts of the country had sunny conditions, though some other parts of Uganda, we had cloudy conditions with showers, especially in the evening hours. According to a report that received this morning, rainfall, Kotido reported the highest amount of rainfall of 58.0 millimeters, and then Mobende, we had 3.5 millimeters. According to the satellite image of Africa, we see that there were winds coming in from Indian Ocean towards our country, and also there are some winds that are coming in from Congo towards Uganda, contributing to the rains that we are having, especially in the northern eastern part of Uganda. Tomorrow we're expecting to start the day with sunny intervals around the lake, in most parts of the country, and around the lake we are expecting showers. Later in the afternoon we're expecting showers, thunder showers in the northern sector of the country, and then other parts of the country we're expecting sunny intervals, apart from Kampala, where we still expect thunder showers. Temperatures expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, that is the northern sector of Uganda, 28 around Lake Victoria, and then in Kabale Highlands we're expecting temperatures to rise to 23 degrees Celsius. Going beyond Uganda, we're expecting Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, New York, and also Beijing to have showers with temperatures rising to 23 degrees, that is in New York. In Dubai, we're expecting sunny conditions with temperatures rising to 46 degrees Celsius. That's what we had in our store. Continue tuning into UBC. Have a blessed evening.